That was fun. I think that's my future after coaching, is radio. Yeah, I actually thought towards the end it got a little sloppy when we got tired, but I thought we did some good things. We were looking for the right things. The turnovers that we did have came from um, trying to make team plays, which is good. I thought that um, I thought our offense was going to be, yesterday we scrimmaged in practice, and I think it was like 4-2. So I was unsure of how well we were going to score the basketball, and I thought that offensively we had some people look really good. Um, so I thought Z did a nice job. She just plays at her pace, which we want to get that maybe. We want to increase her pace just a little bit, maybe. But really, she sees the floor so well. She's got really good vision. She made a couple of decisions that she could have taken average shots, and then she got to the rim instead, or made a nice pass instead. So I think she has a really good feel. I thought Lauren settled in a little bit. It's her. I think she played in FanFest last year, maybe, but she might not have even. Yeah, no, okay. So it's literally her first time on that court, even though she's been here for a little while. I thought she had a nice game. I actually thought Inesh did a really good job of, making the reads. I think when we go too fast, sometimes we get in trouble because we try to pass or whatever. The read is just, did they stop you or not? Go make a layup if they didn't. And I thought 2 or 3 times she drove it in there and either made all 3 layups or definitely made 2 when it was the right decision. And she could have tried to make a difficult pass to somebody, and she didn't. So those guys stood out to me on that team. On the other team, I thought, Julia is going to give people problems with her length, and she's a really smart player. Allie, of course, Allie's going to be Allie. So I know that today she didn't necessarily make a ton of shots, but she's not going to be a problem. So I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good overall outing for our team, and I thought that they, I loved how Taylor ran the floor. So lots of good individual performances. I have no, they're talking to Steve. I'm not allowed to say, well, that wasn't what we're supposed to be doing, or I'm not listening to necessarily what the coaches are calling. I should be able to tell when I see it on the court, but I'm not so sure how good the execution was. I thought the individual performances were probably outshined a little bit of the execution, but when you make shots, it makes everything seem like it was going a little bit better than it may or may not have been.
Seems like there's a lot of depth out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's something that is interesting because at this time of year, I would say usually you start to see some separation, and we just aren't at that stage yet. I know that you kind of jokingly asked me who was going to start the other day. I don't know. And I definitely don't know who's going to be player 6, 7, 8, and 9 because, any given day we have players who are doing things. All of our returners have improved. All of our new players can play. So we have a lot of options. And I don't know if it's going to turn into something, which it depends on, who we're playing and where our strengths will be against that particular opponent or what it is. But we have a lot of players. Those 4, I know Lauren didn't shoot it great in the first part, but those guys who shot in the 3-point shooting contest, there's a couple others we could have picked to go in that. So shooting ability is good. Physicality, a lot of people got rebounds. So I think that there's a lot of options for both offense and defensive success.
Is this typically a benchmark for you guys? Like, do you usually, when you're thinking of an off-season plan, say, okay, I want to be here by FanFest, and do you feel like your team's around that mark?
We usually have a pretty lengthy list of things we want to have installed a little bit more. I think this year the approach has just been to get us. We've used the terminology more ready. Which is very vague, right? Like, what does that mean? But I think that this year we definitely want to be understanding each other a little bit better. We definitely want to, know. I think our team knows well what each other can bring and has to offer, and then you can build on from that point with some of the install pieces. But I think we're certainly where we want to be. I think at this time of year, so much growth to do. But I think that of any years, maybe we're a little ahead of where we sometimes would be, and that's by design. Because of when we looked at the roster and just the youth and inexperience, we wanted to see if we could get ourselves ready sooner. So, we have a scrimmage next weekend against UNLV, so that will be kind of the next phase. We have a week to, the presses and the zones. We put them in with about a day and a half, so they're not very good yet, but they're in. So now we've got to work on getting good at all the things that we do.
Taylor 3 half-court makes. Is she, like, when you guys do that at shoot-around, is she typically that?
Well, we've only had one shoot around. I think she did make one this morning, but I said to her mom, her mom's a coach. So I said, gosh, I didn't know your daughter could shoot half quarters that well. She said, me neither. Usually the ball's always in a point guard's hands at the end, right? So we actually do kind of care that they can get it there. But I told Taylor, we might have to change things up if you're going to make them like that. We got to get the ball in your hand at the end of the quarters. So it was fun. I think she had a good time. Those transfers, today was a bigger crowd than they're used to playing in front of. So I just think it's fun to have fans that come out. They really are the ones that care a lot about our team and wouldn't miss. And that's a lot of people who care and wouldn't miss. So it was a fun day. I'm, of course, don't care. I'm for all the players, but my husband will be happier too. So it's better for me when it goes this way. Doesn't usually. So.
It's you and Alicia. What were you guys trying to do?
Yeah, I think for sure Blue had a really great start, and I think Coach said, we got to lock in on our defense, and so second half, I think that's what we did, and that's why we came back with the comeback, and that's why we didn't let them score points in that second, third quarter. Yeah.
Z, just kind of your first impression, I guess, of playing for the home squad in the kennel. Just how was it?
Honestly, it was great, man. It feels better to be on the other side than to be playing against. But, just the community, the culture, being around these girls, the coaching staff, especially the fans. I just love the environment. It's really exciting.
Lauren, is that kind of typical of inter-squad practices? You guys going head-to-head, pretty balanced and a lot of depth?
For sure. I think every day we try to compete, and that's what we guys showed you today, and so I think you can look for more of that coming in the season. We're going to go hard, we're going to go at each other, but off the court, we're just connecting and just building those strong relationships.
No surprise, Allie can still shoot the three pretty well, and it seems like she'll knock down all those and just not even crack a smile. When you guys are talking to her in practice or something, is she always just that base and that steady Eddie?
I feel like for Allie, when it's game time, she's locked in. There's never there's no playing around for Allie, and I know she's just very driven and all that stuff. But besides off the court stuff, always has a smile on her face, always checking up on us, just a great laugh. It's just it's like that with everyone. But at the end of the day, when it's game time, it's go time for all of us.
Z, when you guys look at what happened today and evaluate it, what do you think you're going to draw from today's experience the most?
Honestly, I feel like we did a really great job today. Always room for improvement and stuff, but just getting out there with those girls. Although I was on one team, I know we play together all the time. We compete in practice, so I'm really excited to see what our team chemistry can build on and how this season goes.